Alrighty. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic, Non-Classic. This is episode number 1998 and Doubleshot number 1892. Excuse me. Now, both these two trades featuring are basically teams created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. First up, it is The Avengers by Jason Aaron, Volume 10. Yes, 10. Which this makes it the very first Avengers trade series to reach Volume 10 since Brian Michael Bendis' New Avengers run. Yes, seriously, because a lot of the time these trade series, a lot of the time the highest they might get to is 6, maybe 7, maybe 9, like but 10. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. Because officially, prior to this, the last book that did this was Amazing Spider-Man. That was the last known official trade series to have its trade series go to Volume 10. Yes, there hasn't been that many did this because Marvel just hits that restart button because they love that number 1 so badly. But yeah, this book contains issues 51 and 55 of Avengers Volume 7, the Free Comic Day issue, which features Avengers /Hulk, and Avengers 1 Million BC. Yes. So, basically, of course, like I said, always written by Jason Aaron. And the surface one is the Avengers versus Deathlocks. And basically, in order to boost up the roster, we have to recruit Namor the Submariner, a guy who has been Avenger before, back in the 80s. This is probably by far the first time he's been involved with the Avengers since the 80s. Because when he was part of the group, it was not very long. He mostly was just basically part of like a good chunk of the 80s. Okay, here we go. It's actually from Volume 8, excuse me. Yes. It's issue 53. You have Namor rejoining the group. Yes. It is interesting, though, the fact they recruited Namor. Jane Foster, she technically has been Avenger before when she was Thor during Mark Waid's run. Yes. So, you probably would think when it comes to Namor, this was the first time. Nope, it was back in the 80s. Yes, he officially joined. It was back in the 80s. Avengers 262. That is pretty much basically when he first joined the roster. And he basically... Excuse me. Like I said, he was mostly part of the Avengers during the 80s. Yeah, during the 1980s, he was part of the group. I think he was part of the Avengers originally very briefly. But now he's back. Yeah, I'm happy he's back. Yep, during the All No Different Avengers era. That's when she first joined the roster. Yep. Yep. So, yeah. So, they basically have to deal with, like I said, deal with Deathlock. That's most of what they do here. Oh yeah, thing starts out with basically in the first issue 51, after setting up with the Deathlock stuff, and of course they have to with the multiverse Masters of Evil. Yep. Oh yeah, by the way, these issues are the best way to describe them is they're basically a prelude to the events of well, we're basically dealing with the lead up into the events of Judgment Day, which came out just recently. I believe it just wrapped up. Yes, I believe so. Yeah, and then we have the whole Earth's Mightiest stuff, and then that happens next, and then the Judgment Day tie-in, and we have the story arc that leads to the finale of Jason Aaron's run for the Avengers. So we start off in Asgard, Thor talking to Thor, and Thor is punching something. The Destroyer armor. Why? Just cause he's bored. So, and then we have the Phoenix talking to Lady Sif. And we have this Deathlock apparently killed by a possessed destroyer, Wolverine who was demonized, and some other woman. So there's a fight with her, and of course they deal with the multiverse Avengers. Really fun stuff here. Oh yeah, and also we have where in 52 we basically deal with an actual death. Mm-hmm. So named Alfred Anders. Yeah, someone who basically fought like on Cap World War II. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, by the way, we have this where Star Brand is trying to remember the Avengers, and she kind of does. I mean, she first made a debut as a baby. Now she's a little girl, and currently she's basically a teenager. So there was various other stuff here, just really fun stuff. And then, of course, at the end of issue 52, we have her become basically this. And this is what she is currently. She's become a very beautiful woman. Yep. Yeah, really fun stuff here. And by the way, when Namor rejoins Avengers, basically, he does it as a punishment for his crimes. He's been because they made an Avenger. So he can face justice for his crimes that he's probably committed the last few years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because of his crimes, he can't call Captain America by his first name anymore. Just call him Captain Rogers. Yep, in 55, we actually have something quite interesting. We have Nighthawk from the Squadron of America group, a group Jason Aaron created in book, who were part of the Heroes Reborn stuff last year. He joined the Avengers. Just a solo appearance for him, and that's it. Yeah, really fun stuff here. They also this thing about a upper leadership of the Avengers, basically the leadership council, because they want to expand the Avengers. Basically, yeah, people here are just Captain Marvel, Thor, Blade, Echo, who's Phoenix. You have Starbrand, Namor, Valkyrie, Captain America, and Iron Man. Basically, here they welcome, well, Nighthawk to the team. Yeah, then we have 56. Yeah, because we got 56, mind you. Mm-hmm. And apparently look like a flashback of Jane Foster with apparently Thor. where the whole thing is about Jane Foster. It's a whole solo appearance of Saint Jane Foster, which I do appreciate that. And of course, her flashing her when she became Thor. And it had the issue in with her staring at Mjolnir for reasons. Mm-hmm. Then we come to a story of Avengers 1 million BC. Interesting that we have this. Mm-hmm. Or it's basically a story for the Caveman Avengers. Yeah, really fun stuff here. I enjoyed this stuff. This was really good. I'm going to give this book roughly a... Oh, by the way, Jason remembers this. That Gaia is Thor's mother. His biological mother. He remembers that. God forbid any writer at Marvel remembers that, because it would seem like a long time he would not remember... Nobody remember, oh yeah, Freya is not Thor's mom. It's Gaia, aka Mother Nature. I'm glad Jason Aaron finally remembered that. Kudos on him. But Death Hunters, great trade. Great set of issues. I give that a 9.5 out of 10. Next up is X-Men by Gerry Duggan, Volume 2. I like the first volume, which felt like a step down from John Hickman's run. This felt like a step up. The first issue. By the way, this book just contains issues 6 through 7. I think it's actually 7 through 8. 7 through... I think it's like 7 through 12. Yeah. Yep, 7 through 12. Now, in these issues, the first issue in here, you have stuff Rain X in here, tease stuff for later, and then we get to issue 7, which is the secret origin of Captain Krakatoa. Captain Krakatoa is actually Cyclops. This issue pretty much explains the reason why he had to assume the identity of Captain Krakatoa. The reason why, because some bigot murdered him in public. That's the reason why he did it. Yep, and this basically shows the story of how it happened. How he was murdered in public by a medic who was basically a bigot. You're like, ooh, that looks bad. Good news and bad news. The good news is you completely cut out your carotid artery. The bad news is now your carotid artery finished. I'm going to try this little experiment. I'm going to tell you exactly where to find me. Let's see if you can come back to remember me. And then he whispers something. And then he leaves. Yeah, this guy practically murdered. Who this guy is, don't know yet. So yeah, because he has to, well, become Krakatoa. Yep. And issue 8, this is one of the most bizarre ideas I've seen for the X-Books. We have M.O.D.O.K make an appearance. Yes, frickin' M.O.D.O.K. Yes, the X-Men after M.O.D.O.K for reasons. Also have this thing here with the fighting A.I.M. And we also have this great conversation with Six from Generation X and Wolverine, aka Laura. She's like, okay, I do a question all the time involved together. Shoot. How long did it take me to warm up to you? A couple 100 years. Broke me down that fast, huh? And of course, the half through the boot butt pose. Yeah, very rare to see that. He's like, hey, you two are interrupting a private chat. You fight each other until we take the winner. And he's like, hell, it took 217 years before our first kiss, but who's counting? My patience and a partner. Ask me again sometime. Those were beekeepers did it. Yes, beekeepers. That's a recurring joke when it comes to A because of wearing beekeeper suits. Yeah, and then they come across M.O.D.O.K at a buffet. Yes, seriously. Okay, this is actually quite funny. Now, Gerry Duggan does occasionally spill humor. Like, I kind of thought, though, the first trade and how much humor. This one has plenty of humor. This is funny. And, of course, they fight. And, of course, they have this Mindscape thing. We have Cyclops come across as Captain Krakatoa. Come across M.O.D.O.K's son. It's like, what's about your father? And he will ask, your father? I am. He has 3 kids and a granddaughter. Cable, Rachel Gray, and Nate Gray. Yeah, but they don't talk about Nate Gray anymore. He's like gone. But Cable's still around. He came back recently. But yeah, I got to handle that. Issue 8 was just really good. then we have it's where niggas like teenage warheads kissing a woman and kissing her for quite a while. Like, excuse me, teenage warhead. Or step back, bake you some bread, bake bread. And she's basically like, just, ooh, hold on a minute. She's really enjoying this kiss. Is Nick like building a whole team of girlfriends? Should make hell of an X-Men someday. Got a minute, Scott? Of course, like with the Krakatoa stuff. And then we have the rule of three. And basically, everybody talking first. This is of course before the happened events of Marauders. We have Nimrod just. Then we have M.O.D.O.K, meaning a guy named Dr. Stasis, who apparently is. This is my associate, Nimrod. No witnesses, Nimrod. Yes, Nimrod, the Sentinel from the future, who meets M.O.D.O.K. Now, I should point out, though, Nimrod is a creation of Chris Claremont. M.O.D.O.K, I had to look up to see exactly who created him. Yeah, apparently prior to this issue, M.O.D.O.K had been dead for some time, and now he's alive. He actually died a year prior to this, and now he's back. Dr. Stasis is a new character who actually just who really is quite interesting. He's a creation of Gerry Duggan. But you might be asking, okay, who created M.O.D.O.K? Well, this M.O.D.O.K appears in this book is M.O.D.O.K Superior. That's Jeff Parker and Gabriel Hardman. The original M.O.D.O.K, George Charlton, who has been depowered, he's a creation of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Yep. So M.O.D.O.K works for him. Of course, you have Storm just taking up. Of course, you have this weird red stuff on the floor. Probably Krakatoa itself. Of course, you have to talk about various other things. And then we have appearance by Kamala from nowhere. We have Cosmo the Space Dog. Yes. It's a good thing Gerry Duggan's been this guy before. Otherwise, it'll be kind of weird for him to randomly show up. Because, well, Gerry Duggan wrote Guardians of the Galaxy. Of course he knows who he is. And then we have, well, Gambit interacting with one of his mother-in-laws. I say mother-in-laws because Mystique is basically in a relationship with Destiny. Destiny is Mystique's life partner, despite the fact she's also dated Sabretooth. And for some reason, can't show her on mask on, of course. Saves her, and of course. Yeah, and of course, he starts flirting with his mother in law. It's like, with love or Irene, but the difference is my love. Don't come string statch. Hate you. Yeah, she tries to murder her own son-in-law. Yes. Destiny tries to murder her own son-in-law. Okay. Yeah, then we have look like appearance by I think it's supposed to be Sunfire. Yeah, Sunfire. But it's a plant, and then we have Sisterhood Meadow Bones. Yeah, then we have basically just another mission for them. Where basically have, get this, you have Laura running into Lady Deathstrike in her classic attire. Yep. Interesting though the fact that they interact with each other like this. This is so cool. Yeah, then she's brought back, and of course, well, she's just there, and of course you have Rogue talking to one of her moms. And then for some reason, Rocket Raccoon shows up. Yes, Rocket Raccoon is here in this issue. Come on, seriously. Because basically, the casino, and there's Rocket in his suit. Now, in case you're curious, though, who did that? That was Al Ewing. Not Gary Duggan. Gary Duggan kept in the regular suit. Then we have appearance by, of all people, Mojo. Yes, Mojo finally makes appearance in this book. Yeah, he does his normal shtick, and of course, the X-Men invited to do some gambling with Rocket. And here's the weird thing. Previous issue, Rocket's wearing a suit. Here, he's wearing his classic Guardian suit. And of course, he gets the appearance in here by Iron Man, Captain Marvel. Yep. And of course, well, we have this various creature stuff. You could see it's a bit of a building toward the events of Hellfire Gala. You have Psycho Second Dr. Stasis, who reveals himself to be a version of Mr. Sinister, who's got a black spade on his forehead. I'm like, that's interesting. And of course they fight, and he gets away. Yep. And after doing all that, and then we have the whole thing, Immortal X-Men, which that did lead to a brief series called that. I think it ended. Actually, I think it's either ended or still going. Let me take a look here. Oh, it's still going. Let's see. Yeah, Immortal X-Men. Current ongoing series by Karen Gillian. Yes, Karen Gillian does this series. As a matter of fact, the most recent issue came out just last month. Yep. Yeah, still ongoing series. This was by far the first X book that Karen Gillian wrote in a long time. Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course you have M.O.D.O.K basically meeting with Dr. Stasis again. And that's it. Yep. Yeah, definitely. This was definitely a step up from the previous trade. Because that first trade was okay. Been a step down from the previous stuff what Hickman was doing. But this one, excuse me, this was really, really good. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. Yep. So yeah, that's it. Review. Next up is going to be Case Closed. Not Case Closed. Barto. Then Case Closed. Okay, next video. Bye.